Shannon, thank you so much. And Payroll Restoration, thank you so much for bringing this update on the ERC, all of the fun stuff that's new for August. I know that you've got some pretty cool stuff around voluntary disclosure, as well as some other questions, and you put together kind of a presentation for us for today, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes lately with the ERC program. They just recently announced that they're going to start doing the voluntary disclosure program again, which is super exciting, actually. Not intend or should not have claimed. But first, because we're accountants and we love statistics, I'm going to share a few statistics. And these statistics all come out of the IR 2024-212, which you can find if you go to the IRS website and type in and search and you type IR 2024-2012, it should come up. The IRS has been using AI a little bit to determine which claims are high risk, medium risk, and low risk. And they're sending out denial letters to the ones that are higher risk and working on processing the lowest risk claims. And we'll talk a little bit more about what to do if you get a disallowance letter, because there's a lot of disallowance letters that are going out for businesses who legitimately qualified. And we have an example of one that is happening with us. And, did you?
Just to kind of repeat what I heard out of that is, so there's all the 30,000, all these letters are going out for the ones that they don't feel are as high of a risk of having fraud. They're working on those. But they're the ones that are higher risk. They're sending the letters out, and that's going to be coming up with what we're talking about here in a little bit with the.
Yeah. So, like, some examples of lower risk claims are ones that claimed revenue reduction, where the year over year revenue, gross revenue, went down. We have one where the 2021 revenue was actually in total higher than the 2019 revenue, but they still qualified because one quarter was really high and the rest of the quarters were low. Yeah. So I mean but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then, I mean, there's thousands of ERC claims that are currently under audit. We personally haven't seen any, and when I've taken trainings from other people, I think thousands might be a little aggressive. It doesn't sound like any one firm is handling very many ERC audits. But on the flip side of that, the IRS has also identified over 50,000 valid ERC claims and are quickly moving those through the pipeline. So while we haven't seen any of our clients receive ERC payouts for probably close to a year now, they are still starting to be processed again because they stopped. They said that the moratorium was September 14th, but we have claims that we're just now starting to see movement on that were mailed in July and August.
I have some clients of my own that have been held up by that. So this is really good information so I can get it back to them. So those watching either now live with us on YouTube or in the replay, make sure to help spread the word to fellow accountants, everything else, that notifications, everything else are coming up is the key thing. So it's getting that hurry up and wait. We're getting back to hurry up pretty soon.
Yeah, but when you get the letters, you have to hurry up and file an appeal and then wait a long time. But the two things that I find really interesting on this slide are that the withdrawal program has seen 7,300 submissions, totaling $677 million of ERC claims, while the voluntary disclosure program was only open for a short time. So they had about 2,600 applications that disclosed $1.09 billion worth of credits that people are saying, I didn't qualify for this. Please don't send me these credits. So the withdrawal claims are a lot smaller than the voluntary disclosure claims.
Yeah, it's about 40% roughly.
Yeah. And I had the math, and I also had another technical glitch where I lost my notes on my slides. So I had the math, and I was going to sound really smart and say, oh, each claim was roughly this amount. But
that's okay. One of the people watching in the comments of the video, please feel free to put that in there for us.
Yes, definitely share that for everybody. Yes. And the IRS doesn't mess around when it comes to criminal investigations. And the statistics are a little bit old, but I mean, they're not that old. They're July 1st of this year. They've already initiated 460 criminal cases with $7 billion in fraudulent claims. So if someone wants to put in the comments,
I'm figuring out the average right now.
what the average of the criminal cases is, because it's a lot. $7 billion in 460 claims.
$1 million each one is what they're saying. Well, so actually,
say that again, because I think I was talking over you.
So language-wise, if we average out based on the number of criminal cases they have initiated, that's 15 million each. Now, a possible 7 billion fraudulent claims is probably bigger than all of the criminal cases that are listed here. But this is, I actually remember seeing this back towards the beginning of July, and I was like, this is insane to me.
But you also have to remember that each criminal case, it could be an ERC mill. That would be one case, and they could have done millions. I mean, there was one specific ERC mill, and off the top of my head, I can't remember which one that was. But they did like 15% of all ERC claims. Now think about that for a second. There was millions of ERC claims, and one mill did 15% of them.
Yeah,
accounting for 40% of all payouts at one point.
This is going to grow, and
it will.
The challenge. The thing I have, the thing that's the most challenging to me on this is, even with PPP, there's obviously a lot of fraud. The PPP, they were rushing to get money out to people. ERC, not exactly the same thing.
But they did the same thing at the beginning. They were rushing to get the money out. There was, at the very beginning, you have to remember that there was a Form 7200 that you could fill out and not pay any of your taxes if you thought you qualified for that quarter. But how do you know you qualify for that quarter when
they're still making the laws and the rules? But
that, not only that, but it was based, if you were qualifying under a gross receipt reduction, the quarter hadn't finished yet.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
That was where some people got into trouble. I think the intent was good. How they applied it and processed things is where things fell apart. And in addition to criminal investigations, there are promoter investigations, and these are specifically about all the people that were calling and saying, guaranteeing that you could qualify for the maximum amount of ERC. I can't.
Dear IRS, if you need a call log of people, I've got on my VoIP phone system plenty of numbers that called and called and called. That's right. All you stink people spamming me.
Oh, I mean, my husband's business is an LLC he's the only person, like he has no employees in his business. And he would tell the people that were calling, I have no employees. I am not eligible. And
we can get you money still.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That was what they were doing.
Yep.
And there was a promoter that would the owner so that they could qualify.
All right. So
I'm getting a error.
Your mic changed a bit. Well. So, and you know what? I think as you know, are working on that. I think this is good to point out. I hope more people recognize these things. There's always going to be future opportunities for somebody to try to commit fraud on something and to take advantage. And I hope they really promote the credit of the fact they're going after all of these people, and it deters or detracts people in the future from trying to do that and makes other people even more aware of what's happening out there, right?